The person who knows you best can destroy you fastest. This isn't poetry, it's psychology, and most people don't realize they're handing someone a loaded weapon every time they fall in love. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why deep love creates deep vulnerability, why emotional exposure becomes your fatal weakness, and why the person you trust most has the power to inflict pain nothing else can match. But first, you need to understand what happens inside your brain when you fall in love. Here's what nobody tells you about love. When you fall deeply for someone, your brain doesn't just feel good, it literally rewires itself. Oxytocin floods your system, dopamine creates addiction-level dependency, your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for rational decision-making, shuts down. Neuroscientists at University College London found that people in love show the same brain patterns as people on cocaine. You're not exaggerating when love feels like a drug. It is a drug. But here's where it gets dangerous. Your brain creates what psychologists call an attachment bond. This person becomes neurologically essential to your sense of safety. Your nervous system learns to regulate itself through their presence, their voice, their touch, their validation. You've essentially outsourced your emotional stability to another human being. Think about what that means. Every time they withdraw, your brain interprets it as a survival threat. Every time they're cold, your nervous system goes into panic mode. Every time they reject you, it triggers the same neural pathways as physical pain. Studies using fMRI scans prove this. Heartbreak activates the same brain regions as getting burned or breaking a bone. The person you love most doesn't just hurt your feelings, they hurt you at a neurological level. But it gets worse. Deep love requires deep vulnerability. To truly connect with someone, you have to give them access. You share your fears, your insecurities, your shame, the parts of yourself you hide from everyone else. This creates what relationship psychologists call the intimacy paradox. The closer you get, the more power they have. The more you reveal, the more ammunition you provide. The deeper you trust, the deeper the betrayal can cut. Why? Because they know exactly where your wounds are. A stranger can insult you and it bounces off. But when the person who knows your childhood trauma, your secret failures, your deepest fears uses that knowledge against you, that destroys you. They don't need to guess where it hurts. You already showed them. Think about it. You've spent months or years teaching this person how to love you, showing them what makes you feel safe, what makes you feel valued, what makes you feel seen. But that same map works in reverse. They also know exactly what makes you feel worthless, what triggers your abandonment wounds, what shatters your sense of self. The person who can build you up the highest can tear you down the deepest because they're using the same blueprint. Comment exposed if you've ever felt this. Here's the dark psychology most people miss. When someone you love hurts you, it doesn't just create pain, it creates confusion. Your brain can't process it because the person who's supposed to be your safe place just became your danger. Psychologists call this an attachment injury. Your nervous system goes into crisis mode. It's like your immune system attacking itself. The source of comfort is now the source of threat. But you can't just leave because you're neurochemically bonded to them. This is why breakups feel impossible, why you keep going back, why you rationalize their behavior. Your brain is trying to resolve an unsolvable equation. How can the person I need to survive be the person hurting me? This is the foundation of trauma bonding, of toxic relationships that should end but don't, of people who stay in situations that are slowly destroying them. Because walking away from deep love isn't like quitting a job or ending a friendship. It's like trying to function while your brain screams that you're dying. Attachment theory research shows it takes an average of 18 months for your brain to fully detach from a significant bond. 18 months of your nervous system treating the absence like an open wound. That's why the one you love most can hurt you deepest. Not because they're cruel, but because they're woven into your neurological survival system. So what do you do with this information? Option 1. Never love deeply. Stay emotionally distant. Protect yourself by never being vulnerable. This is safe. It's also empty. You'll never get hurt badly, but you'll never experience real connection either. Option 2. Love deeply, but consciously. Understand that emotional exposure is a risk you're choosing. Build self-worth that doesn't depend on one person. Maintain identity outside the relationship. Keep internal validation strong. Stoic philosophers understood this 2,000 years ago. They didn't say don't love, they said love without attachment to outcome. Appreciate the person fully while understanding you can't control them. This means loving someone while knowing they could hurt you, and building a self strong enough to survive if they do. Here's the tactical framework. Never make one person your entire emotional ecosystem. Maintain friendships, maintain purpose, maintain a version of yourself that exists independently, because if they leave or betray you, you need a foundation that doesn't collapse. The goal isn't to protect yourself from pain. The goal is to build a self that can experience pain and not be destroyed by it. The person you love most will always have the power to hurt you deepest. That's not a flaw in love. That's the price of real connection. The question isn't how to avoid the risk. The question is whether you're strong enough to take it. If this perspective on love and psychology resonated with you, hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. We break down the dark psychology behind human behavior that nobody else talks about. Relationships, power dynamics, emotional intelligence, the frameworks that actually explain how people work. No fairy tales, no toxic positivity, just the brutal psychological truth. Because understanding why love hurts is the first step to building a foundation that can handle the pain. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one.